Good evening, my MGTOW brothers. Hey, how's everybody doing? Thank you all for showing up. We are waiting on Hemi and Rusty Rivers, who is filling in for Dak. Dak isn't feeling well, so he won't be joining us tonight, like I told you earlier. So, welcome. We have quite the full house tonight. We got D-Man, Rusty Rivers. Well, Rusty's going to be on the panel here in just a minute. No, he's not. I didn't send him the fucking link. I'm a dumbass. Hang on. I better send him the link. What a fucking idiot. Okay. I'll be right back. There. Now Rusty's will be able to come on the show. Oh, I'm going to put the link in here just in case Rusty is looking at this. So, this is for Rusty Rivers only. This isn't the general. It works. Here he is. This is for Rusty Rivers only. This isn't the general. Uh-oh. We'll make you into Rusty Rivers again. That way you're not shaving Haven all night. Anyways, we're waiting on Hemi. And by God, we've got the echo. Woohoo! So we've got Char, Chaos, Frost, Doug Edwards, Mr. E, Smurf, Super Turbo Death Shark, Angler, Frost, RO. Who else? I think that's about it. Oh, and Mouth Agape Ape. And Hemi 4-Speed. Where are you, buddy? Yeah. I'll be right back. I'm going to text Hemi now. Sorry for the confusion, guys. All right, Rusty, what you up to tonight?
I'm tired.
Tired of being admired? Tired of being so uninspired? Are you just tired?
No, I've been pretty busy this past week. Of I may be tired, but I'm feeling pretty good. And look, the beard is gone.
Yep. I see. Oh, Hemi. Hemi was awake just a while ago.
Yeah, I just heard him just a little while ago on Discord.
He's got the bot turned on.
Uh-oh.
Well, that's Taco Prince. That's the bot. That's there we
Good
go. There's
evening.
Hemi. Good
Sorry,
evening. No worries, no worries. Well, Rusty was shaving the nether regions, and he just got a little carried away. So
No, I recognized my picture in the post office. I had to change up.
Yeah. All right, Hemi. We are here tonight to talk about the MGTOW Manifesto. And unlike most normal shows where I'd give my opinion, we're just going to talk about what's in it. Because there's a lot of brothers out there that don't even know it exists and what it says. And the MGTOW Manifesto is kind of, it defines MGTOW. It's how everything got started. And Rusty, if I understand correctly, you were you on the ABC server?
The ABC server? Are you talking about AOL?
Well, that's what they call it in the manifesto, is the ABC server. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, there was a server that was a men's rights server that got taken down a bunch of different times, and people were pissed off that that was happening. And that's what inspired the guys to get together and write the manifesto, because they saw that the men's right, the MRA was doomed. It had been infiltrated and was being sabotaged, and we needed something new and something different and something better, because there were some mistakes made with the MRAs that didn't need to go on into the future, and so MGTOW was born. And like all good revolutions, it was born in a tavern. And
Yeah, that's not the way I remember it.
well, this is what the guys have written down. And we'll get into that if Hemi would bring up the slides. Because the guy, Mr. Orange, was writing a bunch of stuff down and recorded it on a Discord server, which is the information, the written information that has survived to this day. And we will get into it about what it says about troons. And we will also address what it says about politics. So, of course, there we go. Well, this is the first bullet point of the MGTOW Manifesto. And for those of you who want to follow along, I put the link to the manifesto in the more section of the YouTube. So the first bullet point is to install masculinity in men, femininity in women, and work towards limited government. That's what the three main bullet points of the manifesto are. So
sounds like capitalism to me.
It doesn't sound like capitalism to me. It's a little different than capitalism.
Are you able to read that text, or do I have to read them out to you? Can you see that? Is it too small?
It's too small, but
okay.
I'm able to zoom in.
Okay.
Well, what I was referring to, True Blood, was that just by saying the word limited government, that is an opposition to liberalism, progressivism, and wacko communism. And the only thing that's left over is a free market economy and capitalism.
Well,
that's what I was referring to.
It's also in opposition to federalism. It's, capitalism, if I understand it correctly, is a system of economics. It's not a system of government at all. So we'll read what they had to say about government, and it doesn't oppose. MGTOW itself doesn't oppose any form of republicanism, Democrats, or any of that. There's no left or right paradox in MGTOW. But could you bring out the next slide, Hemi? And what's that say?
By instilling masculinity in men, we make men self-reliant, proud, and independent.
Okay. Well, before we hang on, Tammy. Okay. And we could you read the introduction?
Of course.
Okay.
Introduction. Mitchell's chatting. We had a little bit of an argument before we came in here, and now he's spamming me. Okay, hold on here. Yeah. The introduction. What's labeled as introduction? Oh, that's on the second one you sent me, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Then we'll come back to this slide next because this is very important.
Okay, I have that on a slide as well. Hold on. Oh my God, I got too much shit going on
here. True Blood, each one of these is a full stream all by itself. Just take the phrase living independent lives, for example. That's something that we could debate on. I know I piss off a lot of people when I say this, but how can you be living an independent life when you are dependent upon somebody else signing your paycheck?
Well, we will get into that another time, Rusty, because tonight is to familiarize the brothers with the document itself.
Yes.
Here is the introduction. Shall I read it?
Yes, sir.
What is MGTOW? It is a cult? Is it a cult? An airplane spotter's website? Some new Tea Party type movement? No, it is none of those things. MGTOW began as a result of XYZ, a very popular men's rights, or MRA, forum, being erased 3 separate times from 2000 to 2003. Some of the members were wary of having a resource created, populated with information and links that other people could use, and then having that resource destroyed. Where did that go? Having that resource destroyed over and over. This site has now abandoned all MRA content and the links to MRA content, internal and external, on the current version of the site are all dead. Several people who were members of the XYZ forum created a secret forum, one we shall not disclose, and recruited members from other forums to their new anonymous location. Several of them set up a time for a meeting, and 2, Mr. White and Mr. Orange, showed up at a bar in 2003. They sampled many fine ales and lagers and created the idea of a decentralized, non-political movement that would support men and their choices in the face of widespread scorn, indifference, and hostility. The next day, they met at Mr. Orange's hotel suite and fleshed out the idea some more, sketched a logo and a framework of sorts. Since it began as a decentralized quote unquote organization, it has no leader, no official message board, no website. Although many have websites and forums that support its ideals, there is no there to organize, attack, censor, eliminate, or shame into submission. It is everywhere and nowhere.
Thank you, Hemi.
You're welcome.
And that is how MGTOW got started. Um, if you could go back to the first bullet point of the manifesto, we'll get into the manifesto now.
Okay. Let me back to
The previous slide,
Yes, sir. I zoomed in here.
wrong one.
Okay, this one.
All right. I don't know what's going on with my phone. Everything is. I tried zooming it. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm all zoomed out too. There we go.
That's much better. Okay. Well, bullet point 1 is installing masculinity in men. Okay.
Yes.
And it wants us to do 4 things: demand respect for men, serve as good male role models for boys that are growing up, and also for our fellow men, live independent lives, and fight chivalry. Okay. If everybody in the chat right now, and if you guys that are also in the panel, you can feel free to chime in on any of these at any time. Let me know, what could you do to promote masculinity in men? On a personal level, what can you do tomorrow? If you could go back one slide where it has the masculinity and then the four sub points. There we go.
True Blood, I can answer that question on a personal level.
Sure.
One of the things that I do to promote masculinity in my grandsons is that I try to teach them that it's okay to be afraid, but put your foot forward anyways. And that's called courage. And that is one of the primary masculine traits that I think that we ought to be promoting is courage. And that's something that I try to do, with my grandsons. And last night I was just having a conversation with a young man that was faced with adversity. And, I told him, I said, stand on what you believe. It doesn't matter if, inherently you're right or you're wrong. If you truly believe it, don't back down. Stand up for what you believe in. And that's courage in the face of fear. And that is just one example of trying to teach masculine traits to another man.
Okay. Well, in the chat, we've had Frost say, teach men how to be strong. And Char said, lead as an example. Okay. So those are a couple of the guys that are answering the question. Those are all very, very good ways to install masculinity in men. Okay. I try and give a good example. You know, Frost says again, teach men to do hard work even when they don't feel like it. Mile High Ronan says call out usury and manipulation. And one that we forget because it's a trap is to fight against chivalry. You know, to tell men that they are not expendable, they are not resources to be used, and that you don't have to put women on pedestals. You don't have to white knight. You don't have to, provide support for these fucking parasites. You know, and by denying that support every day, we are upholding. And Stinky, no, MGTOW is not a religion or a cult. It says so. So.
What?
Okay. Well, we got a guy named Stinky Finger. I love our trolls. We have the best trolls. Okay, Char says no simping. That's very good. That's very masculine. All right. Hemi, can you bring up the next slide that says promote femininity in women? Before we get to that, we got MGTOW Finium saying he tries to show men that they have the right to self-governance, therefore, or thereby negotiating the need for women in their lives. All right. And what do we mean by installing femininity in women? Well, the manifesto says we hold women equally accountable to men and ignore and shun those who refuse to take any responsibility for their own circumstances. Thus, we introduce women to take a complementary position with men instead of a competitive position, as is now the case. Now, personally, I have two daughters. One daughter learned this lesson. The other daughter did not. One daughter is married, was a virgin when she got married, and is now working on getting me grandchildren. So I'm very happy about that. And she supports her husband and lets him lead and doesn't fight him at every turn. She is not argumentative. She is a homemaker. She took courses in addition to her own college degree, which I paid for and she has never used, but that's another story. She did wind up with a great guy. Uh, but most women out there, most young women, are not that way. So, my other daughter, younger daughter, is the complete opposite. She's a feminist. She's had almost every color hair under the sun. She has fishing tackle in her face. And I wouldn't be surprised if she has tattoos that I haven't seen because, well, she hasn't talked to me for a very long time.
Mm.
So we have, most of us in here, I'd say probably 80% of us have had children and been through the divorce ringer, and that's why we're here. So those of you who didn't get married, good on you. You're smarter than me, a hell of a lot smarter. So how, as MGTOW, can we instill feminism in women that aren't part of our family?
My answer, True Blood, is that first a man needs to have a vision. A man needs to be strong. He needs to have seemingly the answers to where are we going. even if sometimes he doesn't know himself. It is all a matter of leadership. You see, in any relationship, in interpersonal sexual dynamics, there comes a point where the woman in the relationship has got to make a decision about the man. Okay, whether that's a romantic relationship or a business relationship or a friendship relationship, it doesn't matter. At every point, that woman measures that man, and his vision has got to be stronger than her vision for the future. And then at that point, that's the point where a woman will basically submit and say, okay, I'm following your lead.
Okay. And that's what Turbo Death Shark is saying as well. Refuse to accept anything less than femininity from a woman you intend to start a family with. And I'd take it another step further and just don't accept bad behavior from women, period. You are not a punching bag for these cunts to walk around and pretend like they're freaking Susie fucking Karen, the super feminist. You know, you're not. You're a human the same as they're a human. Don't put up with bad behavior from these bitches just because they've got a fucking axe wound. Uh, Angler Senior says walk away and let them fail on their own. They currently have no humility. That's true. Withhold your fucking support from these ladies. RO says remove all attention from women and they will get in line. If that was only true. If that was only true. They have Big Daddy government, so it's not as easy as we think. Oh, and here's another one from the previous question of how to make masculinity. This is a good one, Wrangler. Teach boys at a young age that they have the right to defend themselves. We've all seen women going around hitting men. Everybody needs to punch back. Don't fucking take that shit. Okay. And St. Troglodyte, who is a mystery to me.
True Blood, as a comment to what you just said, I personally have talked with Troglodyte on the phone. He's very legit.
Right, but his other name is Mr. E.
Yeah.
That's why he's a mystery to me. Anyways, where was I? As more men become more masculine, women will have to become feminine or be left alone to the cats and box wine. Very good. Women are not entitled to anything from you. Make them earn it through good behavior, or the juice is not worth the squeeze, says Super Turbo Death Shark. All right. And here's the one that's been causing a little bit of a stink here lately. Thank you, Riggs. I'm glad you got it. But here's one that's been causing a stink here lately is the limited government. All right.
Can you see it, or do you want me to read it out?
Go ahead and read it.
Okay. Limited government. In order to be independent of society and live within it, while at the same time work for limiting governmental influence upon our daily lives, men will go their own way, support other men, legally reduce any tax paying, truthfully act out any duties in accordance with their conscience, and use any rights to the benefit of other men as well as themselves.
Okay. And nowhere in there does it say that one form of government or another is preferable, only that it's limited, that we don't feed the beast.
Well, let me ask you a question on that, True Blood, because I think you and I disagree on this point.
Well, I'm not going to give my opinion tonight because
Okay,
this is a show about the manifesto, not about my opinion or your opinion about this stuff. I
okay. So,
personally,
so we're not interpreting this then.
no, we can talk about things we have done to live up to these standards.
Okay,
I personally have changed my method of earning so that I am paying less taxes. Right now, I'm not paying for the big fancy house I used to own. I'm not paying for the cars that I
right.
used to own. I'm taking that income that I normally would spend on that type of stuff, and I'm stacking that cash at the moment.
Yes.
I'm not feeding the beast. I've rejected consumerism. And to the previous point, MGTOW Finium has a lovely quote here. Most women have totally lost the capability to nurture. And that's true. It's true. They don't embrace their empathy anymore, which is another aspect of what feminism has robbed from them. That is so true, Infinium. So true. All right. And what have you done to limit government?
I'm almost afraid to answer that question. Uh, uh, as a landlord, I have done much to limit the reach of government where I am concerned, and that means breaking the laws, breaking the rules, and
Allegedly.
just saying, hey, I reject this overreach. I reject you reaching into my back pocket and freaking stealing from me. And that's probably about as much as I can say about it.
And if people don't want to talk about what they've done to limit, their exposure to government, that's fine. But did you guys realize that by refusing to get married, you're not letting them into your personal life? That's a form of limiting government.
Agreed.
By, by not having more children, you're not exposing yourself to the family court system and not having to pay child support. You're
Yep.
limiting the government that way as well. And by not
Yep. And
cohabitating, you're
yeah, and
you're basically
not going to Toys R Us, not hiring a wedding planner, not going to the jewelry store and buying rings, not
all
going
of
to
that
the
stuff is
florist.
taxed.
Yep.
There's all kinds of legal ways that we are protecting ourselves and not feeding the beast. I would not encourage anyone to break any laws to, live up to the bullet points. And I even hate to call them bullet points because of that asshole that wears the fucking Guy Fawkes mask. Who the fuck thought that a goddamn fucking trailer park maintenance man from Austin, Texas, would that has been responsible for fucking putting Howard Dare in jail would be a fucking continual thorn in the side of people out there. Uh, anyways, those are the three main points of the MGTOW Manifesto. Right there. Masculinity in men, femininity in women, and limited government. So, what do we have here on this slide, Hemi?
This one here is what we do as activism, and it's kind of like their points of how we can be active or behave. I'll read it.
Thank you.
What we do as activism or the way we behave personally are the main tactics. One, use a logo which symbolizes the strategy. To run one or as many websites and fora that promote this. Run one or more websites which tells the truth about feminism. Provide stickers, t-shirts, etc. with various statements such as chivalry is dead, writing articles supporting our product, producing music promoting our product, holding international events and local meetings, establishing men's clubs, and boycotting certain products. You will be basically alone doing this. There is no organization supporting you. You just go your own way and do what you believe is right. You are never obligated beyond your own conscience. True masculinity is also about accepting the rights of other men and not letting them down for any short term personal benefits. The men's movement does actually cover a much larger picture. By instilling masculinity in others, as well as yourself, you will actually be improving the lives of everyone, including women and children. If it's not right, go your own way.
Okay.
Well, there were suggestions on how we can be active in protest. And
Hey, True Blood, can I just make a comment about one of those
Sure.
directives?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, guys, you heard it. It's right there. It's wrote down. All you guys that are always complaining that a content producer is making money from selling fucking mugs, t-shirts, logos, stickers, or whatever. There it is, right in front of your face. Capitalism. If you're going to do something, you might as well get paid for it.
Yep. It just says provide. It actually doesn't say sell, but yeah.
Yeah. Now, look, of course, this does not include some stupid ass roach PUA that comes up and writes a book on how to tell a man to be a man or pick up women and sign up for my course for $2,000. That is not what that is talking about. It's talking about propaganda. Okay. And I know that's a nasty word, since 1942, but yeah, that is basically the guys of MGTOW saying, hey, propagandize, get our symbols out there, get our message out there, start conversations. A t-shirt can start a conversation while you're standing in line at Walmart. Okay, and that's what that was all about.
And like MGTOW Smurf, he makes stickers and gives them to people.
Yep.
He finds people, he'll send them to you in the mail. You'll get a big old freaking envelope, and or you can go visit him and have some good chicken fried steak.
Yeah.
But Yeah, we are definitely not a place for PUAs, MRAs, or gays. So, Hemi, there is a one of the things is a conversation between Mr. Orange and Mr. White.
Yes, I have that right here.
All right,
I will
Rusty.
read.
Or okay, you want to be Mr. Orange or you want to be Mr. White? You be Mr.
I'll be
White.
Mr. Orange.
Okay, you're going to be Orange. I'm going to be White then. We need to get down to business.
Sure.
We need to instill masculinity in men.
Let that be the first point. And then we must demand femininity of women.
Who gives a fuck about women?
It's the logical consequence of instilling masculinity in men.
There must be a serious business-like approach to this, like selling a product, and this is our product. Mr.
Mr.
White.
White started to put items on the paper.
We cannot put any political items on the list, no matter how much I like to pronounce some ideas.
Or promote.
Promote.
No, that would make the whole thing into a right-wing, left-wing matter. Let's continue with some sub-points to the main points and go from there. All right, gentlemen, what you're seeing there is a direct quote from when they were putting together the MGTOW Manifesto. This is what was going through those guys' mind. They knew that there was checks and balances in the world between men and women. You know, they also knew that we couldn't have MGTOW be a political movement. So they said so right from the very beginning. They just wanted limited government.
Nonpartisan.
Nonpartisan. So if you're political, which is an MRA trait, you're not. You can embrace everything that MGTOW says, but you know, go your own way. It's not MGTOW.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you a question, True Blood.
Sure.
Is non-political political?
Not any interaction between two or more people is a political action. So,
Correct.
You know, that's a gotcha question. So,
not so much.
What they mean by that is they don't want to be associated with any organized political party.
Yes, at that time. And you're 100% correct.
And in my opinion, which I told you I wasn't going to give, so I won't. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Hey, we all slip up now.
Yeah.
It's all right. Hey, this is some deep stuff, man. And
all right.
Like I said, each one of these lines, we can make an entire stream about.
Mm-hmm. And Super Turbo Death Shark has a question. I wonder if the conversation would have went differently if they had known what the world would look like in 2023. Neither major party has our back, but one really espouses some clown stuff. Well, that was the same, but not nearly to the extremes that it is now.
Yeah, I don't know how old Super Turbo is, but I can tell you right now that back in 1999, 2000, 2001, I never saw this shit coming.
No, they were
No,
all fighting
nobody
for
did.
gay rights and marriage and
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah.
stuff.
The gay rights and the right to for gays to marry, that was going on for a while. Uh, no, and I know you remember it too. There's no way that I would have ever predicted that we would be at this point right now where we have
No.
creatures walking amongst us everywhere. You go to the convenience store, you go to Walmart, uh, you go to the local school. Uh, these creatures are everywhere. Society has dramatically changed, and it was somewhere around, I guess, hell, I can't remember when Tinder and all that shit first appeared, but man, that's when it really changed. When those women got the ability to have a box of, a box of dicks literally in their hands, where they could be married and lying next to their husband late at night in bed and accessing all these dicks online, man, that's when everything changed.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's get back to the manifesto. Creation of the MGTOW name. Hammy, could you read to us how the MGTOW name came about?
The last items of the meeting were the name and the product and possible sign or logo. We discussed some ideas and decided to postpone the logo and see what came.
Uh-oh. Did Hammy drop out for you too?
Yeah, I can't hear them.
Hammy, you have your sound is gone.
Sorry, am I back now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're back now.
Yeah, okay. Did you get okay? The last items of the meeting were the name and the product of a possible sign or logo. We discussed some ideas and decided to postpone the logo and see what came up. The name. Only a few men want to join a movement. The internet is so diffused when it comes to reality. Everybody is just going their own way. We might use that. Call it way out or going your own way or something like that. The term men going their own way, MGTOW, was actually first used by Mr. Blonde. The meeting basically ended here and promised to type Mr. White's notes and post them. After having posted the way out product, nothing really happened for a long time. Mr. White and Mr. Orange emailed each other back a few times about the lack of response. Slowly, a few men started to comment and discuss. Some of them liked the idea, but had a lot of additions and changes to suggest. Mr. White and Mr. Orange decided to stand firm on not diluting it, but keeping it to the original basics to avoid pulling. Oh, hold on, I can't see that. Oops. Uh, it's got some stupid bubble right in front of it. I have to. Fuck off. To avoid. No, I can't read it right now. Hold on. In the meantime, I could not get any help but ponder about a logo. These are Mr. Orange's scribblings about the logo. I have to look at it on a different page. StreamYards has a little bubble over it. It says
Yeah.
select a larger area. Anyway.
Well, what they're basically saying is even back then at the founding, they had to gatekeep.
Mm.
they didn't want to like dilute the message. They had to gatekeep, and there's a in one of these statement pages. It says very, very clearly, if you want to do something else, do it. Go your own way. It's just not MGTOW. See, the name MGTOW is not, men going their own way. Is what trips up so many people. They focus on that above instilling masculinity in men. They focus on going their own way, the MGTOW men going their way name, which is just a catchy way to bring all of this stuff together. You're allowed, you're definitely, nobody's going to stop you from going your own way. None of this that's been put out there tells you not to go your own way. If you want to dress up like a woman, but pretend you're, something you're not, nothing in MGTOW is going to stop you. You go your own way, but you are not a MGTOW if you are not masculine. You are
Yeah.
not a MGTOW if you don't believe women should be feminist or feminine, not feminists. I can't even talk. So
Hey, Troop.
that's where guys like Cush and Bullets and Contriver get fucked up. They're too focused on the going your own way part and not on the actual beef and meat and potatoes of what was written by the founders.
Yeah. Yeah, True Blood. Let me chime in on that and add to what you just said. I was in a discussion with a small group of men earlier, and this came up, this subject. And the examples that I would use is, listen, the Freemasons defined themselves. They have their own manifesto. They have their own rules. You can't come into the Freemasons and say, well, I'm a Freemason, but I disagree with this major tenet right here. No marriage. Way back when, in the Boy Scouts, they defined themselves. They have rules. You couldn't come in and say, well, I'm going to be a woman. Now, today you can, of course, but not back then. You can't be a police officer and say, okay, I am a police officer, but I don't recognize the law that says, murder is a crime. Okay. If you want to be a man going his own way, be a man going his own way. But if you don't agree with the manifesto of MGTOW that was defined by certain individuals at a certain time, at a certain place, they wrote it down, we're reviewing it right now, then you can't declare yourself a MGTOW. You can declare yourself a man going your own way, but just not the MGTOW label. And so I think that's what you were saying.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. And Angler sums it up nicely. Unfortunately, I think that Messenger Rising was right when he said that the abbreviation was too vague and that it would be exploited. Look no further than Bullets for Teeth and you'll see, which is absolutely correct. And it has been exploited.
Well, not only has it been exploited, but you see what happened is that you had the founding of the manifesto. And then as time went on, the only three things that in general that the men pulled out of it was no marriage, no cohabitation, and no more kids. Okay. And then they ran with that, and then it got perverted. Okay. We're actually reading right now because you're reviewing this. There are so many other directives that is involved with the manifesto that these guys, no fault of their own. Okay. By the way, this is something that's basically, as the saying goes, has been lost to history. People have forgotten this. And I'm so glad that you're doing a stream tonight because this is cold, hard facts. This is in writing. And you know what? If you have a dramatic, enthusiastic rejection of one or more of these things, then that's fine. Just don't declare yourself a fucking MGTOW. You're just a man going your own way who happens to be red pill aware or red pill knowledge. That's it. I don't see what the big deal is, but there are so many men of our community that they reject this idea that there are just a handful of men that defined MGTOW, and they reject it. And they like, well, I'm not following any direction of just a handful of men. They're not going to tell me that I'm not MGTOW, even though I'm married. That's bullshit. You can't be a fucking MGTOW and be married. That's the end of story. You could be a man going your own way, and you could be married. Like Grinch. Grinch is married. He's red pill aware. But you're not MGTOW. Don't take the label.
And he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
All right, Hemi, down at the bottom of that page, there's a thing that defines what MGTOW is. And this is the thing I learned today. I had never read it before.
At the bottom of this page, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was in one of those yellow boxes.
Okay, well, it might be a different. Let me check. Talk amongst yourselves for a second.
It was the second. It was the second. The second fucking PDF that I sent you.
Okay, give me 1 second. Like I said,
Okay.
talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves.
All right, and we can do another stream on the no marriage, no cohabitation, and no kids. Right now, I'm still in conversation with the guys that came up with that, and one of them is Hammerhand. So, but I haven't got the full backstory on that. And it's not nearly as well documented as the manifesto.
I'll get that for you. Just 1 second, Brandon.
Yeah, and True Blood, one of the things that I think is apparent from just what we have gone over so far is, the general idea is for men to get out there and spread this message.
Yep.
And that's proselytizing. We always say in our space, we always say we don't recruit men come to us. And I have always rejected that idea. And I think maybe you have a better understanding of why I have rejected idea. That is one of the primary directives, the general conceptualizations of this manifesto, is that men need to get out there and talk to other men. Men need to initiate conversation, whether this be through wearing a t-shirt or a sticker or a coffee mug or whatever, but the conversations need to happen. And by the conversations happening, this is why you have always heard me say that although MGTOW is not a movement online or in general, for every man locally where he's living, it should be an active process. He should be putting some effort into initiating conversations.
All right. You see that yellow box there? What's that say, Emmy? Hmm. I can't zoom that.
No, I got you, man. I changed windows. I can't talk.
Okay.
I can read it.
Can you hear me now? MGTOW is not a philosophy or an ism, but rather an evolving consciousness and a way of looking at the world.
Exactly.
It's a gestalt. The name for what they just described is gestalt. And what a gestalt is a term from Jungian psychology, which means that the sum of the parts is or the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So if we all are thinking and moving in one direction, it's greater than any one person.
Hey, I think that's really profound, True Blood. And I don't want it to be lost on anybody. But read that again. MGTOW is not a philosophy.
It is a, read it.
Yeah, I understand what it is.
Read it.
Okay, MGTOW is not a philosophy or an ism, but rather an evolving consciousness and way of looking at the world. And the evolving consciousness of every individual man determines his own individual actions and determination. And that is action.
And we are like-minded men moving in the same direction, even
Yes.
if we're going our own way.
Hey, how many streams have you guys personally been on? And you got all these guys saying MGTOW is a philosophy. MGTOW is a philosophy. Now do you see why I have been arguing against it?
We're not going to get into that tonight, Rusty, but
okay.
that is something I've also noticed, and I'm still doing research on it. I always thought it was a philosophy too, just like Frost. I didn't know that until today.
Well, damn, that's a pretty big of you to say that, True Blood.
Honesty is a masculine trait.
Yeah, you know what? You're damn right, because it is fucking totally absent from women. But yeah, that's always been my main thing, man. That's why you and I have always gotten into fucking arguments about, the so-called philosophy. It's an individual consciousness of each and every man and his resources, what he is able to do to the best of his ability to get out there and to spread this message. And, you're familiar with some of the, my individual projects for trying to spread the message. But yeah, I do believe it is an activism. Let's not call it a movement. Let's call it an activism.
No, it's not an ism. It says so right there.
Well, yeah, I know. But it is,
Rusty. You're kind of putting your own spin on it.
That's true.
And we don't need to do that. This is an information show tonight.
That's true.
And I'm having a very hard time not doing that either. So,
Yeah, I know. I apologize.
yeah. Well, Frost, how do we explain what it is? It's just, it's a meeting of the minds. I think that's a common way of saying it. It's a meeting of the minds. It's a fraternity.
Well, you have recently heard me call it a club, and I know that's very simplistic. But clubs have rules, and clubs have defining, uh, propositions of what they are and what they stand for. And this is why we don't allow women in here. This is why we don't allow transsexuals, gays, bisexuals, pansexuals, polyamorous, all this fucking bullshit Satanist, uh, damn creatures. Gatekeeping is required.
Mile High Ronan says it best. It's fellas being fellas, no women.
Damn right.
Exactly. Every time you allow women or any of these other special groups in, they make it about themselves. They fucking run around and shit on everything, and everybody has to walk on eggshells so they don't offend these fucking pesky fucking parasites that want to be where we are because they want to control us. So I think we've covered everything in the manifesto. And please take a look at the link, read it for yourselves. Don't just take my word for it. Don't take what Rusty is saying for it. And especially don't take Kemi's word, because he's Canadian. He's Canadian. The only one in this chat you can trust right now is Sam. And Sam was just recently sitting on the floor looking at the bed and crying at me. So he's saying, Senor Brandon, I want to go to sleep.
The men did list 9 masculine. This one here, Brendan. This was their sketches that night, basically.
Yeah, they took notes.
This is like the inception, but they have masculine qualities, 9 of them.
Could you read those to us?
Yeah. Will, like your drive, okay? Power, so your strength. Creativity, producers, higher intelligence, leadership, reasonable. In parentheses, they have logical and also honest, reasonable. Value freedom over safety. And number 9 was independent.
Hey, True Blood, I know you don't want to get into it tonight, but I'm telling you right now, I got a very strong argument for capitalism being at the center of all this. I mean, just look at
that
producers.
Another day.
Yes, I know.
This is I want to stay on topic.
Yes, sir.
So, and they had the feminine qualities that they wanted from women. And if a woman wanted a family, they wanted them nurturing, protecting of children and family. They wanted them to be supporters, homemaking, strengthening the family, supporting the man in the home life, or his life, I guess. And they starred this one and underlined it. So I'd assume it was very important. responsibility for herself, her actions, and her family, if applicable.
Good deal.
All
It's
right.
pretty basic shit, man. Like,
And that's how MGTOW got started. Was just guys got together over a beer, said we're tired of this bullshit. What can we do to make it end? How can we protect ourselves? And what do we expect from each other and the people that we live with? Females and the rest of society. And how do we, you know, what do we want everything to turn into? We
Hey,
want
True
masculine
Blood.
men, we want feminine females, and we want limited government.
Yeah.
That's MGTOW.
Will
For
you
more,
allow me just one indulgence as a comment, kind of off topic?
oh, not tonight.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm really trying to walk the straight and narrow on this one and not insert stuff. And I know if you
mhm.
start going off on something, I'm going to want to go off on it.
Yeah.
and, and yeah. So,
Okay.
anyways, gentlemen, I hope and pray that you all go out there and read. It's very limited documentation that we have. We don't have a hell of a lot. You know, this should be on the Wikipedia page, but it's not.
Yep.
You've got a bunch of fucking woke fucking college professors fucking psychobabble on there talking about shit that fucking has nothing to do with MGTOW. Nothing. Now that you know what MGTOW is, anytime anybody raises the argument that MGTOW is this, MGTOW is that, MGTOW is something else, you can say, no, no, it's not. It's not. It's all written down. There are people, respected people in the manosphere who say there's no founding document, that there is no moment where, like Euclidean geometry, you can't go to Euclid. Well, you can. This is the founding of MGTOW, right here, the manifesto. Lots of schools of thought have come out of this document. A lot of people agree that masculine men, feminine women, and limited government is a great way to go forward. I'm one of them. So think of ways, look at how shitty shit stuff is now. Think back on this. What can I do to change things? How do I starve the beast? How do I promote feminine women? And how do I become more masculine myself? The tenets that we have were an outgrowth of it. Some guys were sitting around going, we're getting fucked. You're getting fucked. How do we not get fucked? You know, what can you contribute? We've had the great minds from the past all made contributions. And if anything else, I'd like everybody just to sit back and think, what the hell can I contribute? What type of thought, any type of strategy I can use? And if you find something, share it with your fellow men. Get on my stream or one of the other streams and say, hey, I had this idea. And it could be a great idea, or it might be full of shit. But you got to flesh it out, and you've got to expose the rest of us to your ideas, or we'll never know. And don't be afraid of being told that it's a stupid idea. I get told I'm stupid all the time. Look at this guy. He says, you're a dumbass, Brandon. You should be sleeping. You've got to get up and drive in the morning.
Yeah, you need
So,
to get some rest, True Blood.
anyways, gatekeep. Don't let them change our shit. Don't let them call themselves stuff they're not. If they're wanting to do what they want to do, if they want to be fagtow, let them be fagtow. Let them go their own way. But do not tolerate them calling themselves what we are. Do not let them do not tolerate fucking assholes coming and trying to redefine what MGTOW is. MGTOW is defined. It is. It's all here, black and white. Follow the link. I saw Angler put up a link to a different site that I didn't even know had the manifesto on it. But there it is. And do not allow our, gestalt, our meeting of the minds, to be diluted, to be perverted, and love one another in honor of Frank, full homo. But no, not really, no homo. Yeah, the No Ma'am blog spot. I've heard of that one too, but I have never visited.
That's where that file that you have is from at the
Oh, it's
very
from
top.
No Ma'am?
Someone has copied it from there and
Oh, okay.
somehow sent it to you. So,
Well, I got it off of Discord.
mm, but that's where
And I,
screenshots are from. At the
okay.
top of the first link you sent me, if you scroll at the very top, it's got No Man Blogspot written on top of it.
And Skelly, that is exactly right. This is how you go out and spread the word. By putting this stuff out on the web, because they keep erasing it. They don't like this. You know. They don't.
SC says his headphones now charged, but you didn't put a link.
Well, that's because I am not opening the panel up tonight. And SC, I do want to talk to you about a visitor that we had, but that's going to have to be on another day, because I'm going to end my stream, as I end all my streams, by talking about no marriage, no cohabitation, and no kids. So please go read the manifesto for yourself and have a great evening. I'll see you later. Thank you, Rusty. Thank you, Hemi. And thank you, brothers, for coming in and sharing this time with me. Uh, Hopefully, I exposed you to some things that you hadn't seen before. And I want each and every one of us to become familiar with this document. It's over 20 years old now, and it, you know, oh, and we have a very important point coming up from MGTOW Infinium. The other issue is the lie that's being spread that MGTOW was created by white supremacists, and this fully dispels that lie. That is also true. That's another thing that they're saying about us. So, peace out, brothers. I love each and every one of you in brotherly, fraternal love, not any of the fucking perverted shit. So, Riggs, I fart in your general direction. The rest of y'all, have a great night. Bye bye.
Good night.
Good night.